the 7 healthiest foods you should be eating on a daily basis. And I'm also going to give you 3 additional bonus foods that will complete your entire diet. Most unhealthy foods on the planet raise your insulin, which is called insulin resistance, is at the root of probably 80% of chronic disease out there. And there are no other foods that I know that will even come close to these 7, or shall we say 10 foods. So let's start with number 1, sauerkraut. You want to make sure you get raw sauerkraut, because if you buy sauerkraut in the store that's on the shelf, that is pasteurized, which means it's heated, and heat or pasteurization is going to destroy the key thing in sauerkraut, which is the microbes. Did you realize that sauerkraut is one of the most powerful probiotics out there? Way better than yogurt, way better than kefir, and way better than most probiotics that you buy from the grocery store. 1 cup of this fermented cabbage provides like 1.9 net carbs, so it barely has any carbs at all. Sauerkraut is the most vitamin C dense food out there. In 1 tiny cup, you're going to get over 700 milligrams of vitamin C. That is 10 times the RDA. Can consume sauerkraut very easily. Sauerkraut also is loaded with something called glutamine, which actually heals the gut if there's inflammation. Sauerkraut also is loaded with vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 removes calcium from the soft tissues of the body, including the arteries, including calcium that builds up in your joints. Sauerkraut also is loaded with all sorts of phytonutrients, one being sulforaphane. It's not only been studied as having anti-cancer properties, but also can help to put this microbe called H. pylori back in remission. This is the microbe behind ulcers. The real heavy lifter on the sauerkraut is something called vitamin U. The technical name for it is S-methylmethionine. This specific nutrient heals ulcers. It's great for inflammation in the stomach, but if you have any type of ulcers in your stomach, in your small intestine, in the large intestine, it goes in there and it builds up the mucus layer and it actually heals an ulcer. I would just put like a half a cup or maybe even 1 cup on your plate, and that's all you need per day. All right, let's go to number 2. Arugula is one of those vegetables that has very low amounts of oxalates. Oxalates can aggravate the joints. They can end up as kidney stones. But the big reason you want to consume arugula as your alternative lettuce for your salad is in what it can do for the inside of your arteries. It's one of those foods that gives you the highest amount of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a very special compound to help vasodilate the arteries, to keep the blood pressure from going high, to help protect the arteries against inflammation. It's also good for erectile dysfunction. The other cool thing about arugula is it has anti-cancer properties because it's a cruciferous vegetable. And of course, I dump a lot of extra virgin olive oil on arugula. And personally, I also add a little nutritional yeast on it because it gives it a little cheese flavor. And nutritional yeast gives you B vitamins, amino acids. Number 3. Wild-caught salmon. Wild-caught is kind of like the equivalent of organic. You're going to get something a lot better than farm-raised, because with farm-raised, sometimes they use antibiotics. Sometimes they'll use certain additives that you don't want in that fish. And also, they have to use like different pigments to color the salmon to make it look pink. 3 ounces of salmon equal 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. Now, what is an omega-3 fatty acid? It's a combination of 2 things. DHA, which is really good to build your brain and your retina to allow you to see, as well as EPA, which is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. So anything related to itis, arthritis, bursitis, tendinitis, inflammation of whatever, you want more omega-3 fatty acids. So if we actually compare salmon fish to cod fish, okay, salmon, and we're talking about 3 ounces, salmon will give you 2,000 milligrams of omega-3. Cod only gives you 171 milligrams. Now, some people are concerned about mercury when they consume fish. Well, you don't have to be with salmon because salmon is loaded with something called selenium. Selenium helps bind with the mercury and helps mobilize it out of the body so it doesn't build up. One thing about salmon that I always do is I always eat it with the skin on it, okay? The skin has a lot of nutrients, especially right underneath the skin. You have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. And you have other things too, like collagen. So I would highly recommend you do salmon or other fatty fish at least a couple times a week.